back, everyone, to another week of the beautiful slip and slide we like to call the R&R Podcast, where we get rowdier than a backseat on prom night. I'm your host, Robert Jones, along with my co-host, Randy Watkins.
Hey.
It's Fat Randy.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, man. I'm pretty sure Ginny would be real disappointed in Fat Randy.
Give me another beer now.
Oh, God. I'm glad that you didn't just get fatter, you got dumber. It's all the cholesterol in your brain.
I wanted to meal a lot.
You know what, Randy? I've got to say, it's real exciting to actually have a week of sports to talk about where we're not scraping the barrel of stories.
Yes. Or the dark web, because I've found lots of bad shit on the dark web.
You, get off the dark web. You got to stay out of there. You're going to come back a furry with a foot fetish. That's what happens in the dark web, Randy.
That's where all the podcast research happens, Robert. It's what we do for the love and passion.
Wait a minute. Are you going behind my back and trying to legitimize this podcast with research? What kind of low-down, horse crap, loserville, nerd alert are you dealing with there, buddy boy?
Nerd alert.
All right, I'm going to hop right into the first story. I know that you don't care, but the Las Vegas Golden Knights sweep their series with former Stanley Cup winners, the LA Kings. Just like getting in the playoffs like they did, they are the first expansion team to ever achieve this mark in the first round of the playoffs with a sweep. They are now, Randy, if you can believe it, the odds-on co-favorites to win the entire dang thing, along with the Nashville Predators. Isn't that crazy?
Dude, that's insane.
And you didn't even know they were a team.
Neither did I know the Nashville Predators were a team. Who's the Nashville Predators?
Well, speaking of Predators, in other news...
That's a good segue.
Former USA gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar is an absolute piece of horse crap. I mean, if you didn't already know it, I mean, so for those of you who are unfamiliar, Larry Nassar was a doctor with USA Gymnastics, and it came to light that over the last 30 years, he has essentially molested and sexually abused pretty much every woman to go through USA Gymnastics. I mean, really, University of Michigan is dealing with all sorts of crap from this. USA Gymnastics is getting sued left and right. I mean, this guy's going to prison. There's no doubt about that. But the new news that came out this week was that in an interview, famed USA Gymnastics gymnast Michaela Maroney claims that Nassar molested her hundreds, Randy, of times, sometimes twice in a day, along with 264 other women.
It's disgusting.
I should say 264 women, not at the same time. Now that, on a level, that'd be kind of impressive. You'd be a little impressed. I mean, if you're bulk molesting, in one go, I mean, that's the logistics behind that. But yeah, he's a piece of crap.
Let's not joke. That's just awful stuff. I mean, I read a lot of what Michaela talked about her trip to Tokyo after the World Games in 2010 or 12. Just things that he would do to those girls and pull them into all under the quote unquote medical treatment realm. And a lot of the times their parents would be in the room and they would excuse themselves, and he would do his molesting that way. Just a disgusting piece of shite is what he is.
I felt like it's something we need to talk about. We always talk about things very positively on this show, but this is something people need to know about.
You know what they should do to him? They should hog tie his balls and just put them on, just
careful now,
run a piece of rope all the way to a horse and slap that horse on his ass as hard as they can and let him take off running. I mean, this guy doesn't deserve prison. It makes me angry.
No. Here's the deal. He does deserve prison, because do you know what the survival rate of pedophiles in prison is?
Oh, the prison world hates pedophiles.
Yeah, because most of them are the products of being diddled. I mean, seriously, it screws you up for the rest of your life. And it's funny. So everyone I've known in gymnastics, everyone I've known who's been in gymnastics I know there's going to be exceptions. I know there's going to be people upset, but my personal experience with gymnasts is that they were all abused in some way, if not physically, psychologically, if not psychologically, through body shaming, which I suppose is psychological. Every gymnast I know has body dysmorphia. And if you look at somebody like Maroney, with everything she's done in the last 5 years, like drastically changing her appearance, as young as she is, Randy, she's younger than us, getting plastic surgery on her face and lip injections and stuff like that. That screams somebody who only sees themselves valued physically and is trying to be someone else. It's classic signs of abuse. So this needs to be a wake-up call to people. And I already had made the decision that none of my children are going to be gymnasts, but now this just kind of cements it.
So this begs the question, do you think USA Gymnastics knew about this at any given point? Because we saw this with Penn when everything went down with Penn State, that nobody knew about this. What's his name? The coach at the time, Paterno. Didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it. Penn State didn't know about it. And then all of a sudden it comes out that everyone knew about it. So where do you think this is going to go?
So here's the deal. There had to have been complaints. There had to be somebody. There had to be reports. Quite frankly, I think a lot of people had to be involved. I mean, for 265 people to be involved.
That's what I was going to say. 265 people.
I can't believe that not one of them.
Over 30 years.
Well, and you look at the list of people who are abused, it's basically every girl we've seen on a Wheaties box for the last 20 years, Randy.
Allie Raceman was one of the big ones. Out of the last one, she was she has spoken out at the trial, and they've had just, girl after girl after girl as a witness, Just,
it's no joke, man. It's no joke.
It boggles my mind that even in a society that we live in now, as a get up, speak up kind of protest and things that we've had, that this stuff still goes on and is still a real thing in society. And to know that this man has perpetrated this over the last 30 years is just unbelievable.
It plays into the same issue that we have with Hollywood right now, with the Weinstein scandals and all the A-list actors who it's come out that basically it was pay to play. It was, this was your pound of flesh and you were going to pay it to have an opportunity to be in film. People in power are going to take advantage of those who want from them what they have to give over and over again. So, all right. But to move on to something that's a little more positive for me, Randy, Tom Brady has not officially stated that he will be playing in 2018.
He will be back.
Probably. But let me hold on to this, Randy. Just let me hold on to it for a moment. This old fart, he turns 41 years old in August. He's currently training in Qatar with famed body coach Alex Guerrero. And the question I have for you...
What does a body coach do?
I don't know, Randy, but what kind of monkey semen herbal steroid is he taking? What the hell do you have to go to Qatar for quote-unquote body training?
Body training.
It just sounds like he's getting shot up with horse testosterone.
Or he's in that confined pit in Batman Begins, where Bruce Wayne was down in that hole just getting beat up every day of his life, just trying to earn his way out of that pit. Just one day he's going to make it out, and he's going to run on the football field. He's going to throw 50 touchdowns, break all the season's records, and win the damn Super Bowl trophy again and ride out on the sunset. It makes you sick.
You think football is your ally. You merely adopted the ball. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the tin zone until I was but a man. Such a good movie.
It is a good movie. Very underrated. But no, I saw the story that I don't know if it was his agent or somebody like that. It's oh yeah, he's coming back. He hasn't officially said it, but I saw an alert I come across today that, oh yeah, he's coming back.
Well, again, he hasn't stated it. It's always people close to Brady or Brady's agent says.
Yeah.
It's not him. So we all know he's probably going to play. But there's some weird contract stuff that's going on in New England right now. Not the least of which, Rob Gronkowski has invested in a Kentucky Derby horse by the same name, Gronk. And incidentally, that horse I just found out today may not get to run in the Kentucky Derby at all due to an unforeseen injury. Man, he's more like Gronkowski than he realizes.
Somebody ejected him with monkey semen.
Well, Gronk always keeps a vial on hand, for emergency.
Yeah, got another order today from Tom Brady. Got to go whack off this monkey.
Sorry, I gotta shoot Tom up I gotta shoot him up in the butt, man. Just for you New England fans, your backup quarterback is Brian Hoyer. Good luck with that crap.
Yeah. What happens when he breaks his leg again? They're screwed.
He's a hot mess, Randy. He's a hot mess. Ooh, that Brian Hoyer. Ooh, I'd like to get him alone for a night.
He looks like he's like 47. He just looks well beyond his age. Bald-headed somebody.
Starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah. They ran him out as quickly as they could.
So I got a question for you, Randy. Did you catch Joel Embiid's comeback in the playoffs against Miami?
I didn't. I saw some of the highlights.
I'm glad you got the highlights, brother, because we'll talk about a dominant performance to come back from injury and just light them up.
Yeah, he's wearing the mask now, right? He didn't have a facial injury?
Yeah, he is wearing the mask. And I'm trying to remember, somebody on the on Miami's side tried to step on it. Oh, it was Justice Winslow.
Oh, no way.
It fell off his face. Yeah, and Justice Winslow tried to step on it. Of course,
I wonder if Grayson Allen taught him that one.
I don't know, man. Embiid said it's all right. I've got 200 of those in the locker.
Oh, wow, that's hilarious. Yeah,
I wonder if he'll keep the mask on. Some players get kind of superstitious about that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's anything like when Hansbrough had his mask. Hearing him talk about it, he couldn't breathe worth crap. He hated it.
Let's face it, Hansbrough can't breathe worth crap even when he doesn't have a mask. He's a mouth breather. He'll be in the middle of interviews you just gotta shoot the ball. And it's like, oh God, is every breath a struggle for you, brother? And it's a shame too, because now he's in China with all the smog.
Mm-hmm.
But it isn't affecting his performance.
Nope. No, he's dominating. But Embiid, man, he's turned out to be quite the player. Yeah, man. He's taken the 76ers and made them a playoff team. And they've been notoriously bad for several years.
Well, Stephen A. Smith said today that he sees the 76ers beating the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, wow.
So, we'll see. We'll see about that. But Toronto is fading. They've just kind of, they're not closing it out, man. They're kind of struggling with their playoff, their first playoff series. And the Cavaliers went down 1-2 against the Pacers, but they've evened the series up narrowly up the series to 2-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's only because of LeBron. He keeps them in, man. It's amazing to watch them. He really does. And they'll be down the first half, and just in the third quarter they start coming back, and in the fourth he just brings it back. He is an interesting player to watch, and I've never been the biggest LeBron fan, but I will say that about him, that he is Mr. Clutch. For sure.
Yeah, that's very true. Randy, you make an interesting point. I have found that people who grew up tried and true Michael Jordan fans don't like LeBron. I have not found a single person who loved Michael Jordan who likes LeBron. Quite frankly, I think it's because there's a couple different angles.
You think
the comparisons, of course, that have been since the beginning. I mean, even when he was in high school. But I think it's also that there's a level of threat because LeBron really is that talented, and it threatens your idea of your hero to have in his lifetime have somebody potentially surpass him, which is hard to believe because there's plenty of guys in the league who are better than Jordan. I mean, there's just guys with more rings, better numbers. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has some very strong things to say about, the Mount Rushmore of football.
Yeah.
I mean, did you know that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA?
I did not know that. I did not know he's number one. I knew he was up there, but I didn't know he was number one. I just, not to go off on that tangent, but they were just two different players. I mean, Jordan was not dunking on people like crazy like LeBron does, and, Jordan was the more of the pure shooter, give me the ball and he could cross over anybody. LeBron's not going to break your ankles, so to speak, but he's a great defender. Now, Jordan, towards the end of his career, became a really good defender.
He had to.
Yeah, he absolutely had to. But, LeBron is bigger, number one. He's a better three shooter than Jordan ever was. Jordan was not really known to be a three shooter. So, I mean, there's just two different types of players. But, I mean, I've definitely gained respect. I gained respect over him when they beat the Warriors, when he came back from 3-1.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the deal, too. Here's the thing that people don't understand with Jordan and LeBron. They're different positions. They literally play different positions on the court. LeBron is a power forward. Michael Jordan was a guard. Yeah. Those are different positions. Michael Jordan is closer to Kobe Bryant and Steph Curry than he is LeBron James. LeBron James, with the shooting potential that he has at his position, is insane. I mean, and the only person who kind of comes close, they're very different players, but similar to scoring potential in the position would be Kevin Durant. Think about where Kevin Durant plays, and they've started playing Kevin Durant like a guard, like a point guard,
which is
crazy.
He's
He's like 6'10", man. He's lanky, but he can handle the ball. The thing I think is amazing is that Kobe Bryant has a higher all-time leading score than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's at 32,292 points. Kobe Bryant's at 33,643. And poor Karl Malone above Kobe Bryant, and we hardly ever talk about Karl Malone. Karl Malone is just a few points shy of 37,000 career points, which is insane.
Yeah, he quietly did it. It's all those assists from John Stockton all those years.
But it is interesting that Kobe never makes it into the conversation with the Jordans, the LeBrons, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars. And personally, I think it has to do with attitude. And I also
nail on the head. I was definitely going to say it's attitude, 100%.
Sorry, I didn't mean to beat you to it. But the other thing is I think a lot of people credit their first 3 championship wins on Shaq.
Bringing him in. Yeah, the big man. Yeah, because Kobe couldn't do it without him,
That's right.
And Kobe, another great shooter, one of the best of all times. And you're right, man. He just
an amazing shooter.
Not that he's forgotten about so much as it is just, I don't know. People did not like really playing with him, man. He shot the ball all the time. Just if the ball was in his hands, he was shooting it. Now, the thing about LeBron is LeBron can throw up some assists too. He knows how to distribute the ball. And that he has, I would like to see how many assists he has compared to, it's got to be way more than Jordan and Kobe ever were, maybe even combined. But he knows how to distribute.
Kobe Bryant on the assists, like all-time assists for a player who scored as many points as he did. He's 30th on the all-time list for assists, which is quite low for somebody who's like 4th on the total scoring or 3rd on the total scoring list. That's interesting. Let's see the career assist leaders, because I think you're right. I think LeBron already is high on the list. Let's see here. Yeah, LeBron is 11th on the list right now as he stands. With, let's see how many total assists LeBron James has, 8,208. So he's already he passed Kobe a long time ago. Chris Paul's at number 9, Isaiah Thomas at 7, Oscar Robertson at 6, Magic Johnson at 5.
Guards.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, and that makes sense. Yeah. Well, oh my God, that's a good point. LeBron James is the only strong forward in the top 30. Oh my God. Yeah. Randy, what the heck?
Uh-huh.
He's the only strong forward on this list. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Oh, and then the top 4: Mark Jackson, Steve Nash at 3, Jason Kidd at 2, and John Stockton
all
at
guards.
1.
All point guards.
You called it. John Stockton at number 1. Number 1 with the bullet.
Yes, sir.
15,806 assists. He averaged 10.5 assists per game, Randy. Yeah. That's bananas. That is bananas.
That was his MO, man.
Holy crud, man.
That was his MO. He was a hell of a ball player, but he was the assist man. He knew how to find people in space, and that is a rare talent. It's good when you can make shots, but when you can help your team make shots and other people around you, that is talent.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. All right. I think we got some more stories that we got to get into here at some point.
Yeah, so speaking of your boy Durant, he sprained his ankle against the Spurs.
He did, and he went back to playing the next game. He said that he it isn't going to hold me back. But it makes you wonder. You've got Steph Curry that's out right now, and you've got Durant basically carrying that team. And you wonder if he's coming up limp because they just lost to San Antonio. Mm-hmm. They had gone down 3-0. San Antonio hadn't won a single game in the series, and then they finally came back. And I don't know, they set some record for like never going down 4-0 in a playoff or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty. It makes you wonder, if Steph is hobbled and now Durant. It'll be interesting to see going forward how he plays.
They definitely can't afford for those two players to be hurt hobbling down the stretch. And they really, early on in the year, us talking about them trying to make it to the All-Star break because they were really beat up. It's going to be a slow finish if they are really struggling that bad.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, people aren't even talking about them getting to the finals now. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about. I'm still confident that Houston's going to be the team to make it out of the West. Mm-hmm. But I guess we'll see.
They're down to the Timberwolves actually right now, but yeah, they're still leading 2-1. So, but yeah, Rockets have looked great.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see. Oh shoot!
Well, it's also
I'm blanking on
interesting.
Go ahead.
Number 1 Raptors against the Wizards too. They're also 2-2 in their series. I'm pretty sure they were the number 1 seed, either number 1 or number 2. But to see that the Wizards are hanging with them, the Wizards have been garbage for years. I mean, all they have is John Wall. I don't know anybody else decent on that team.
Yeah. It's been interesting too. James Harden has been pretty quiet in the playoffs thus far. He's not found his stroke yet. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's just amazing to see everybody kind of like underperforming in the first round of the playoffs. The exact opposite of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. All right, buddy boy, hit us with that next story.
Should we jump into some NFL draft news or shall we continue?
Sure, we can do some NFL draft news.
Back over.
Where'd we leave off last time? I believe we finished with the Cardinals,
with the
right?
Number 16 pick. That would be the Baltimore Ravens select.
Who are they going to select? Well, the real question will be, is Joe Flacco going to come back at full strength? He got his bell rung real hard last year. You and I were watching that game.
Yeah, he's really struggled. It's just like he can't put together a string of 300-yard games anymore. He's not consistently throwing the ball. It's like almost like the Ravens, like they don't trust him with the ball anymore. If you've noticed, they've gone to like a 2-3 back system the last few years. Yeah. It's like, dude, they want to run the hell out of the ball and make him throw like 25 times a game, and that's it.
When you and I talk about somebody who got paid and disappeared, Joe Flacco's who comes to mind. The other thing for me is like, okay, so Randy, do you draft a young quarterback? Is that something you consider? He's 33 years. He's 33 years old.
Yeah. It's definitely on their needs, but I don't know if it's high enough. I mean, maybe they throw a 4th or 5th round flyer on somebody and try to develop, but I don't know if they go with somebody in the 1st round.
Yeah. My thing is, think about with Joe Flacco, like who's he got to throw to, Randy? Who's he got to throw to on that team?
Well, let's see who's there. I got it right here. Michael Crabtree. To quote Richard Sherman, Crabtree, he got nothing on me. John Brown is there now. So Michael Crabtree and John Brown. I mean, decent. John Brown had a down season in Arizona last year. And Chris Moore, I'm not real familiar with who Chris Moore is, but they've really struggled at wide receiver the last few years. That's why they kind of clean house. They haven't had a tight end since Todd Heap left, and some of the big guys that they had there.
He had a very tight end, Randy.
I could definitely see them drafting an offensive weapon at this point. I don't know about a tight end at 16. Dude, they also have I forgot that they signed RG3 this past week.
Yep. Yeah, they did indeed.
What a joke. I cannot believe he's back in the league after a year off.
Well, they could always re-sign Steve Smith out of retirement.
He's available. Dude, and I had Smith on my fantasy team the last couple of years he was there. Man, he had one really good year. He was lights out. He was still producing. To be as small as he is, and we talked about small wide receivers, how they don't fare well. You have guys like that and Antonio Brown that kind of buck that trend. Even OBJ at 5'10" or 5'11", those 3 guys have made very well production, or a lot of production in the NFL being low size. So,
yeah, very true. Yeah, Steve Smith,
5'9". Yeah,
I really hate that he didn't retire a Panther.
I think Gettleman screwed him really bad. He really pissed off.
The one guy Gettleman didn't want to give a lush end of career contract. Jesus, because think about it, he did it for everybody else. But it's Gettleman really muffed that punt, as they say. He deserved better, at least. But they so burnt that bridge. He didn't want the 1-day contract, to come back.
Yeah, because he had burnt that bridge at that point. And there were many times that he went on record saying he had a house in Charlotte and he didn't even want to pay anybody to mow the lawn and shit like that. He was so frustrated with everything and how it went down. I mean, he was a Mr. Panther, I would say. He was a Panther through and through, and he really got screwed. But that's the NFL, man. It's a business, and sometimes it's a destructive business.
All right, number 17, the Los Angeles Chargers.
It's weird hearing that LA Chargers, not the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. They rushed to put a second team in LA, and it would have made way more sense to have the Raiders in LA because they were in LA before, just like having the Rams in LA. Why not let the teams that were in LA at different times be there at the same time? And then everybody who used to be fans of those teams would be satisfied. Instead, what you do is that you've so carefully tried to build a fan base in San Diego forever, and then you screw them.
Yep. That's exactly what they did.
But I guess what if I had to boil the Chargers down to, it's like defense. It has to be defense. They don't lack on offense,
Not with
Randy.
Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen. I mean, and your boy Phillip Rivers, who you have a man crush for.
Yeah, he finished second in passing yards last year in the league. He was only 60 yards behind Tom Brady to be the number one passer.
He has the ugliest release ever, but he can sling the damn ball.
I don't want to hear about his sex life, Randy. Although he has
does he?
kids,
no way.
So.
8 kids?
Yes, sir.
Sheesh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. And he's not Catholic.
I was going to say.
Okay.
What kind of monkey semen
17.
is he shooting?
Only the finest monkey semen. But yeah, isn't it bad that when you hear somebody have that many kids, you're like, all right, Catholic, Mormon, and Muslim, what is it?
DMX has like 15, right?
Oh, geez. X is going to give it to you, and it's going to get you pregnant.
Guaranteed. I agree with you. I think they're going to go on the defensive side of the ball. They could also they need a tackle with Russell Okung getting old, they could be looking for an upgrade there. They've got great set of linebackers. They're pretty set on offense. I think that's kind of where they struggled down the stretch last year. They lost some very close games, I remember, and it was because their defense could not hold opponents. So, they could go with another linebacker or get an edge rusher right here that will fall. So, yeah.
Before I forget, since we're talking about, X gonna give it to you. JohnTron tweeted 2 days ago, sorry if I'm late, just trying to find out, did X ever end up giving it to us?
I love DMX. Right. He just got sentenced to another few years in prison for tax evasion.
Great.
And at the sentencing, good he requested the court play one of his songs, and they did it for him before they took him off. Oh my God, Randy! But I've heard so many stories about people that have met him being the most humble guy, and I grew up on listening to DMX, and he's just awesome. But
yeah. And now covering X gonna give it to you, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
X gonna give it to you. We gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you.
Yeah. Although since they're Mormons, they'd probably have to cut out all the things about drinking and swearing and fighting and profanity.
All right, with the number 18 pick, the Seattle Seahawks select.
Yeah, they really need to get a quarterback, don't they? Am I right?
No, their defense is on the shite.
Clearly, the Legion of Boom is a bust. It's gone. It's old and decrepit.
Also traded away Michael Bennett. I mean, that's a huge loss. Michael Bennett was such an underrated defensive end, man. That guy, you want to talk about just someone who crashes the line. He was there making space for everyone else, man.
So is this the year the Seahawks go 6-10, Randy?
I just think without losing this many people, I just don't see them being over 500 this year, dude.
The rest of the NFC is too strong, man. That's the key. But you got to think. So who's in their division? Okay, LA can beat them twice. The Rams can beat them twice. Yeah, 49ers are getting better because they've got Garoppolo. They could very easily beat the Seahawks twice. The only team that I see them making a push with is the Cardinals. Because they're just not very good. But other than that, I don't see them getting out of their division. We'll see. We will see. So, yeah, basically what it boils down to, Seahawks need defense and probably a new coach.
Yeah, I think the time's coming for Pete Carroll. He's not getting the W's there like he used to.
Yeah, well, he's old as heck. I mean, he really is. He looks super young, but he's 66 years old.
He wears his age well.
Yeah, it's all those years. Well, it's all those years he spent in Southern Cal. I mean, he undoubtedly had work.
It was probably monkey semen.
Jeez. But Boomba, I guess that's got to be the name of this episode.
Where do you get your monkey semen? Yeah, monkey that's great.
Monkey do.
I love it.
Oh, geez, Lou. All right. It's not the number 19 pick because don't the Browns get 2 picks in the first round?
They're at 1 and 4.
Okay, so it's actually the 20th pick, so it's numbered wrong. But anyways, we'll go with the numbers we have presented here for us. At 19, we have the Dallas Cowboys. who will draft a new owner because they're tired of Jerry Jones.
They do need a new owner. Jerry's a mess.
Oh man, I think Jerry should lace up the boots and go out there, starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, the only problem is that these days he'd have to pass to a black guy, and I don't think he's big on that. Ooh,
bam!
Jones with the Bants. These are the jokes, kids.
Dez Bryant, that's kind of the biggest thing. They need an offensive wide receiver weapon now. Do they go for somebody high in the draft? Do they overdraft? Because that's a lot of what you're going to find here, a lot of reaching or people following down to these spots, which happened to Aaron Rodgers in his career. So you're going to see either some value here or you're going to see some reaching. So it'll be interesting to see what they go with. They have a lot of defensive needs too. So you think about Randy Gregory not working out. Yeah. I don't know how many games he's even played. He was a first-round defensive end, and that was the story on him coming out of the draft, is that he can't stop smoking weed. And what do you know? Within the first couple of games, he's banned from the NFL. And I don't know how many games he's played since then.
He took that song pretty seriously, smoke weed every day. That's his commandment. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, too. Dallas has got to sign some talent. I mean, they've got to open up some cap room and actually sign some free agents. That's what they have to do. Because if you're planning on drafting talent and trying to beat the Eagles this year, it ain't happening. You are not going to beat them with rookies.
In 3 seasons, he has played a total of 14 games. In 3 seasons. Randy Gregory. He was a first-round pick. He was down towards the end of the 2015 draft. But that was the story that came out days before the draft, was that he had a drug problem. And who do you know takes a flyer on him but the Dallas Cowboys, thinking it's going to work. So he plays 12 games that year, and then he's toast at 2016, and he didn't play a single game last year. Excuse me. So, I just they really need a help on both sides of the ball. I mean, they're
in fairness, though. In fairness, the NFL has really got to address these archaic marijuana rules. I mean, it's not a performance enhancing drug, and there are teams in states where it's legal. Mm-hmm. So,
and I think that we're getting closer to that. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
That'll be the day when North Carolina becomes one of those pot tourism spots. Craft beers already, and then if people come here for pot tourism, man, Taco Bell is going to open up 15 franchises overnight.
Oh man,
Doritos Locos Tacos sales go through the roof.
Oh, you only got the Cool Ranch, man? That's fine. I'll take it.
Sir, you're eating a cardboard sleeve. This thing's real crunchy, man.
Can I get some cinnamon twists, bro?
You're just eating your friend's dreads.
All right, so we're moving on. Next pick would be the Detroit Lions. I completely forgot.
With the 20th pick
they were not
of the 2018 draft, the Detroit Lions draft clean water.
Oh, man.
Never going to get old. I don't know anything about what Detroit needs. I mean, I guess Stafford's a good quarterback. He was third on passing last year.
Yeah, he's still going to put numbers up regardless of who's there. But their offense has just really struggled over the last few years. It hasn't been so much their defense. Their offense has struggled. They have nobody for wide receivers. I mean, Marvin Jones. I mean, he's okay. Golden Tate, who really, I don't think has really worked out there. Has not lived up to the contract coming over from the Seahawks. No. So, And Amir Abdullah was a super sexy pick coming out in the NFL draft when he came out, and he just really hasn't lived up to the hype either. I remember a few years ago that was all the fantasy hype because stud running backs are very rare anymore, and he was up there as going to have a super breakout rookie year and just flatlined and hasn't done much since. So I think offense has been stale. And unfortunately for Stafford, he's been a catalyst in all of that. They got to get something going. But all these teams are not going offense. So we're talking like they all need offensive players that they're going to sprinkle in some defense. They're going to be you're going to see some guys falling right here. A lot of linebackers still on the board and corners as well. So we can move on.
Yep. Number 21, the Cincinnati
Bengals. So they traded for this pick and swapped with the Bills.
Yeah, man.
They traded for Cordy Glenn.
Cincinnati Bengals were 7-9 last year. And let's see here. I'm trying to think. I really didn't watch any Bengals games last year.
The ones that I did watch, other than AJ Green being Mr. Consistent, Joe Mixon started to come on strong, and he kind of upended. I guess the other running back that was gone now. Oh shoot, I had him for a while. The name escapes me right now. But Joe Mixon was drafted last year as the heir apparent number 1, and he took over the spot. So, I can't comment to what they need either. They're a pretty decent team, but we've talked about Coach Marvin Lewis still there after all these losing seasons. How much longer is that going to last? I don't know if I see them above 500 again this year.
It'll be interesting to see if they can him mid-season. That does happen every now and then.
They got a pretty decent defense with Vontaze Burfict. George Iocca is a great safety. And some other guys, Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap. They've got some big talent there on the even Hardy Nickerson Jr. I forgot there too, an old Redskin player. But they, I don't know. They just struggle. They just struggle putting wins together. They have talent. Yeah. They just lose close games. So we'll see who they go with. 22, right, Buffalo Bills.
We've already covered them.
We covered the Bills. Yep. The Pats at number 23.
Oh, yeah, they need a quarterback. And people don't want to talk about it, but they do. They do. They lost the next Tom Brady in Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, they didn't lose him. They chose to let him go. And Brissett. They've been doing this for the last few years. Jacoby Brissett was the year before last. So they've had decent backups.
Jacoby Brissett. What is it with the NFL and NC State right now? There's like 4 or 5 NC State quarterbacks in the league. It's crazy. It's the world going crazy, Randy.
Go crazy.
Carolina's got that, that one quarterback out there, Mitchell Trubisky.
Yep.
There you go. That's something.
So what do you think the Pats are going to do with this draft?
Like I said, they need a quarterback, but they're not going to. Bill Belichick is boring and predictable. He's going to go defense. A corner, I don't know.
Jeremy Hill was the Cincinnati running back I was thinking of. He's in New England now, which is interesting because he's a beast, but he kind of just struggled. Yeah, I agree with you. I think they'll go defense. We'll see. Wow, Jordan Matthews is there and Cordarrelle Patterson. I didn't know some of these players that they had picked up. Interesting names.
Yeah.
But they're set at wide receiver. Their line is pretty tough. Also, didn't they lose a lineman this year? Yeah, they lost their left tackle. Solder, that's right. Nick Solder. They let him go.
Nate
Solder. Sorry. Yeah, they'll probably go defense because they gave up a lot of points.
Yeah.
So probably no surprise. Sure. All right, number 24, your Carolina Panthers. Who you got?
Yes, sir. It's going to be wide receivers. We've got to have targets for Cam. I mean, and here's the deal. Greg Olson's great, but when your tight end is your number one option with a quarterback who's got an arm like that, it's ridiculous. That is,
I like that they have a clear set number that they're going for. I mean, Torrey Smith, I tell you, he's not the damn answer. That's for sure. You got Funchess on one side, potentially, Torrey Smith on the other, and you develop a young wide receiver in the slot.
The thing is, we just got rid of I just had his name
for the Bills. What's his? The other tall wide receiver?
Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin, who we drafted out of FSU, was our last, rookie wide receiver that we drafted, and he just never panned out in anything. He had all this size and had all this ability and never did anything with it. He should have been the number one target for Cam, and he never was there. Never did.
He had a lot of drops, I remembered. Was his
I'll tell you what. The year the Panthers went 15-1, people don't know this, but as an avid fan, I watched every game. And if his wide receivers had caught half of the passes that he had thrown at them, they'd be 16-0. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was pretty bad. But yeah, so that's what they really need. And I guess long term, we need some more support on the line. We need somebody young that can be trained by Julius.
I was going to say an edge rusher for Julius, to be his replacement.
Yeah, but anyways, all right, got a few more. Let's move on.
Rolling on. The Tennessee Titans. I don't know much about the Titans other than
an underperforming quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, they went wide receiver last year, so it's more likely they're going to go along the defensive side of the ball this year. So,
very probably,
they could have had a lot better season than they did at 9-7, but they kind of struggled down the stretch, if I remember correctly. They lost the last 3 or 4 games. Number 26, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, you probably know more about the Falcons than I do.
Just because they're in the NFC South. I mean, they've got a deadly quarterback who occasionally can get the yips in the playoffs. But Matt Ryan is a great quarterback. There's no debate there. He's easily top 10 in the league. And so I would imagine that they'll do 2 things. They'll probably give him another target, whether that be a wide receiver or a tight end. And then I think they're going to shore up their defense because they already have pretty good targets. They've got Julio Jones. So we'll see. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I'm with you. They're set at running backs, have 2 of the best running backs in the league, a great combo. So I think they got to go defensive side of the ball. Number 27, New Orleans Saints. What you think about them?
Again, the NFC South. Here's the honest to goodness truth, and a lot of people aren't going to like this, but Drew Brees is getting older, man, and he's been playing all right, but we're kind of reaching the end of their run with their quarterback and their coach. I would seriously be considering the quarterback of the next generation, and some people are saying, "Oh, Drew Brees will groom a quarterback." I don't see him grooming anything, because remember, Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers didn't get along, so I don't see that happening.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And there could be some quarterbacks that fall down here. If they don't go at the top, they're probably not going to go in the middle rounds. They're probably going to end up at the bottom of the round. So, I could definitely see them. They may opt for a QB to finally replace Drew.
Yeah.
The thing is about Drew is just people count him out so easily, Robert, but the guy continues to produce year after year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been kind of an underrated quarterback his entire career.
That being said, most quarterbacks benefit from playing the majority of their careers in a dome. Look at Peyton Manning.
True. I would definitely give you that.
Drew Brees has played two places: beautiful, sunny San Diego, California, and New Orleans in a dome.
Mm-hmm. He had a 103.9 passer rating last year.
Yeah.
23 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
I'm not taking anything from the man. Not taking anything from the man. There's
But you're right. There's only so many more years he can last. So, but just will go down was one of the all-time greats. I really like Drew Brees. I always have. I think he's a great guy. So we'll see what they do. Number 28, Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't even have to look at their roster. The Steelers always draft defense. They are one of those. They just
do.
It's
absolutely right.
It's like, oh, we're going to be the punishing Steelers. You're going to be the terrible towel, and oh, heaven forbid, we're going to crush you. We're going to crush you. They really need another crazy Polynesian guy. That's really what they need. Give him a little pop.
Just find him in the bottom of a volcano hanging out.
Polynesian. That's so 10 years ago. We're into pygmy Namibians for our outside linebackers. Wow. It's bold. It's a bold move. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about the Steelers. Roethlisberger, who knows how long he's going to be around, but he seems pretty solid at the position. He played well last year. He was fifth in passing overall.
Mm-hmm. And also Ryan Shazier is going to be out for the season already after his injury last year. He was kind of the heart of the defense at the middle linebacker spot there.
Yeah.
So that's a huge loss. They could go after a linebacker because to lose your star linebacker for an entire season already, that spells disaster.
Yeah.
So, and they got a lot of guys that are on the chopping block. So,
yeah. All right, number 29, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The
Jaguars. Huh.
Are they gonna stick with Bortles? That's my big question.
They already signed him.
No,
they already gave him an extension, right?
Yeah. No, I know. They're betting on Bortles. But what are they going to do to help him out?
That's a good question. They got to replace some of their wide receivers they lost.
Yeah, no kidding.
For sure. Losing Allen Robinson, that's a big loss. Some good numbers there. But another one of those teams, dude, that constantly goes after defense. And they definitely, over the last 2 or 3 years, have gone after defense.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack, some of those guys, AJ Bouye, have all been top round talents. So I don't know. I think they've got to get him some help this year. They got Fournette last year, which was a steal. So they don't need a running back. So they got to get a wide receiver. We'll see. 30, the Minnesota Vikings, the new home for my boy Kirk Cousins. So what do they do for old Kirky?
I think they're going to strengthen their offensive line. I think that's the route that they're going to go. What do you think?
Yeah, looking at their defense last year, I don't think they have any sort of problems with that. I don't think they lost a lot of people, so I could definitely see that. You bring in a quarterback, quote unquote, for the future. You pay him the most money that anyone's ever gotten paid all time.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is your offensive line to be a Swiss cheese factory. Yeah. So
you hear that, Panthers? You hear that?
You think Cam Newton's up for a big payday?
Well, he's already gotten one. He's already gotten one payday. But what I'm saying is, so they pay him. They pay him comparable to Russell Wilson's big contract, and then they don't give him an offensive line. We're bringing in old retired blindside to help. Anyways.
So okay, so number 30. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. That's all.
Number 31, the Pats are right back down at the bottom. I didn't know that they had 2 first-round picks. How the hell do they do this year after year? have they have 8 picks every year.
Hand jobs, lots of them.
Damn monkey semen.
Yeah.
Quit whacking off those
Like
monkeys for draft picks.
Rob Gronkowski is a generous lover, Randy. Awful pillow talk, though.
Party boy.
It's like talking to an Easter Island statue.
Yeah. So we'll round out the first round with the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles. I don't know, man. They were pretty balling last year. They have two starting quarterbacks, so
yeah, they just gave your boy Foles some money, had him restructure his deal. That happened last week.
I love how everyone is my boy. I take no ownership of Nicky Foles.
Yeah, but he definitely earned it. We kind of talked about where would they give it to him. So and they did.
They gave it to him.
So we'll see. I think this pick is anywhere in the air. So I really don't know.
It's really just who's available. I think they may just pull whoever's the best available, if you think about it.
Yep. It's either you pull in high second rounders or it's hard to see when somebody's going to fall all the way to 32. That usually doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's usually a reach pick. So we'll see. But that ends our draft day primer, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for boring yourselves with listening to us talk about the NFL draft.
Maybe we'll do it'd be nice if we could actually do a live stream for the NFL draft. I don't know how we're going to work that out, but
I may be able to do the 26th. I'm actually going to be out of town Friday for the rest of the weekend. So maybe we think about doing it because it starts on Thursday night, right?
That's right.
On the 26th. So maybe we do get to hang out and talk about the draft a little bit.
Yeah,
I just don't know enough about each individual player. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, all right, moving back on to some other sports news. Arsene Wenger to retire as manager of Arsenal. First in all-time games and second in all-time wins.
Over in which league or just for Arsenal?
Premiership.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Second in wins behind, what's his face, retired from Manchester United, right?
Yeah, I think Sir Alex Ferguson.
That's right.
Yes, that was exactly right. Good, nice job, Roberto.
Well, I am a Man U fan, so, which pisses people off.
Man U. You and your sports fanship. I'll just have to talk to you about that.
I like excellence, Randy. I like winners.
Damn, Man U. So I was an Arsenal fan when I spent time in England. During the Thierry Henry days, and yeah, he's a great manager. So a big loss for that.
I do have to say, when I'd pull for Arsenal, it was during the Henry days. I have a soft spot in my heart for Thierry Henry.
Man, Thierry Henry was such an awesome player to watch.
He was fun.
Man.
And
dude, he
tremendous
was awesome.
ball control. Also, he was really good at soccer.
Why did I laugh so hard? your comedic timing was on point, though. I'll definitely give you that. Yes, he's a great ball handler. Handler.
But Arsene Wenger, he will be missed. Rip in peace.
Rip in peace. Yeah.
How old is he?
I think he's in his 60s, late 60s, I want to say.
It's really funny. Yeah, he's 68. It's really funny. Now he's probably going to go sell cheap Spanish wine on, late night commercials.
Live out his days in southern Italy or southern France in the Bordeaux region.
No, I think he's going to go to North Africa. That's a great place to retire to. Libya, Libya. That's a nice place to just kick up your feet and relax.
Wasteland.
Yeah. Next year in Marrakesh. All right. In a little MLB news, Brandon Belt notches the longest at-bat ever, lasting 13 minutes and consisting of 21 pitches.
How many of those were foul balls? I mean, they obviously had to be for 21 pitches.
Yeah, so he hit the 22nd. So let's see here. There'd be 3 balls. That's 18 with 2 strikes, at least 16 foul balls, Randy.
Oh my God, dude. I bet everyone in the stands, I haven't watched this yet, but I did see the tidbit that everyone in the stands had to cheer. I mean, freaking 13 minutes.
You know what's most upsetting about that? That it took 13 minutes to throw 21 pitches, Randy. That's what's upsetting to me.
Speaking of pitches, there was a no-hitter this week too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Happened last night. Let's see who it was again. It was a Oakland Athletics player. Sean Manaea. So congratulations to him on his no-hitter. He crushed it. So I was getting the alerts about that.
Impressive.
Yeah, when you're striking out everyone, I mean, just fanning a major league team and a no-hitter, dude, that's got to be such a big accomplishment.
Yeah, no kidding. It makes a career, you know. It's a big moment. It's a big moment.
Huge.
And think about it. You're taking out top major league talent to do it. You know, this ain't just be at batting practice. All right, so Randy, hit us with that next story.
So I finally watched some Aussie Rules Football.
And
now I understand why you watch it.
Oh, man.
It's those short shorts with their balls hanging out. They're just running around the field with those skivvies on. With their own
I ain't no ball gazer.
muscly legs.
I'm a trailblazer.
Kicking that ball all over the place. No, it was pretty cool. It was much different than rugby. But here's the thing I didn't understand. So the guy kicks it, you know, and because the field is huge. I don't know how many.
Yeah, it's played on a cricket pitch.
Yeah, and so he kicks it, you know, 60 yards. The guy catches it. When did they know to stop? Like, because play just stops, and then they get the, I guess if you lack of a better term or the knowledge that I have, you get the field goal try. But when does it come, like, do you cross a particular line where it's like, okay, well, now you get the field goal try? I didn't understand, like, because they did it from different angles.
So it's similar to the kick and position in rugby. So in rugby, when you have a kick and you take the ball at a point, it's like the opportunity for a scrum there. It is, you know, it just depends. So you can kick a ball from further out and try and kick it in the uprights yourself, and that's worth more points. But it's more advantageous to try and go up for a ball and then basically have a free kick there. I just like it because it's so fast paced.
Yeah,
you know, it moves very quickly.
It seemed to be less of the brashness or ruggedry that rugby has, where they're just bashing each other and tackling, and the scrums. It was more like these guys were way more not athletic, but quicker. There were smaller guys, and they're just kicking the ball and running all over the place. Yeah,
there's way more finesse.
Absolutely. I watched about 15 minutes of a game, and it was pretty cool to watch.
Imagine having a couple of beers in your belly too.
Yeah. But some of those guys are extremely fast, dude. I just took away, like, you know, a lot of them were just, once they caught the ball on the sidelines, they are just gone. And, dude, I watched this guy running down the field, a wide open sprint, kick a field goal through the uprights, backwards.
It's exciting.
And it's
exciting. And then to watch them dribble it, they'll be running down the field and they dribble that awkward ball.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. I thought about you the other day when I was at work, had some time. I was like, I'm going to check out Aussie Rules Football, see what it's all about.
I tell you what, I was a teenager and it came on Fox Sports and I was just mesmerized. I was like, what is this? you got to remember, I played soccer forever, but soccer is so wussy. And then it's like it's got elements of rugby, but you've got to be able to score. You've got to be able to have that finesse.
Mm-hmm.
I love to kick field goals before soccer practice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I always appealed to me. All right. Last story of the day, Randy. They have come out with an Undertaker graphic novel. Yes, that's right. Your favorite WWE character, The Undertaker, will now be memorialized in comic book form. Your thoughts, Rando?
I'm looking at it. It's like lightning flying from his fingertips, and it's just a joke, dude. They are really trying to capitalize on every little bit that they can make out of Undertaker, aren't they? The guy's like falling over dead in the ring.
Yeah.
And they're capitalizing every little last dime they could get out of him.
Yeah, he's 53 years old. 53 years old.
It is insane to think he's in his 50s.
So I've made a decision too. I wanted to share with you. John Cena or rather Brock Lesnar, looks like you dropped a John Cena doll in water and it swelled up.
What? So are you
like Brock Lesnar? You look at his face. You look at John Cena, and it's like you remember those little dolls that or toys you'd put in water and they'd expand to like 10 times their size.
You're saying they look exactly alike? He's just the more swollen version.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they look very similar.
It's hilarious. I don't think so. I don't see that personally, but if that's what you think, that's
really you don't see any similarities between them at all. The big ears, the pinhead, the crew cut, the broad shoulders, and the dumb look on their face. I think they look a lot alike, Randy.
Okay, made some valid points. But
and not just the point on the top of John Cena's head.
John Cena did not marry Sable. That's for damn sure.
John Cena didn't marry anybody. That son of a gun, John Cena, speaking of him, he bought one of the limited edition Ford GTs that you're not allowed to sell for 2 years and sold it.
Oh,
wow. So, I mean, Ford's probably going to sue the heck out of him, but I don't think that contract is enforceable. So good luck.
And didn't him and his fiance just call off their wedding?
They did.
Was getting married, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, we would like to thank our Patreon supporters because we've been really bad about doing that in the last couple episodes. So thank you very much, Adraxis and James. If you are a fan of the show, remember you can check us out on Twitter at CriscoCast, on Facebook at Crisco Industries, our new YouTube channel name, youtube.com/CriscoCast. And also you can find us on Patreon if you like the show, want to support the show at patreon.com/Crisco Industries. For just 17 cents a day, that's $5 a month. You can help the podcast grow, help the whole channel grow, help us pay for the server space. And even if you don't want to throw us any shekels, do tell your friends and your family and your grandma, because I'm sure she needs to hear Randy and I talk about balls.
Yeah, tell Granny about that monkey semen.
Oh my gosh. I should also say you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, and what was the other one? Podbean?
Podbean? Pocket Cast.
No, what was Pocket Cast? That's right. Well, don't
I'm sure
laugh.
there's a Podbean. Is that a real
There
thing?
is a Pod. Oh. There is a Podbean, man. There totally is.
Man. It's a real thing, man. If not, I was going to create it tonight and start a new
man.
Space. Pocket Bean.
Also, we're contractually obligated to thank Dave Grohl.
Praise be unto thee, David Grohl.
Yes, Davey Grohl. We call him Davey Gravy. Interesting news about Foo Fighters. Last night, a fan was brought up on stage to play along to Monkey Wrench, and he nailed it. Really? I mean, he just nailed it. Yeah, he played the guitar part. The kid looked real weird. He had grease paint like Kiss makeup. It was funny.
All right, cool. I'll have to check it out. That's how that band got started. So that's awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm going to send everybody out with a little fun from the $1 Million Man. You and I were talking about the $1 Million Man, Ricky Flair, last week. I'm gonna send us out there if you're ready for it, Randy. So
let's hear it.
I'm Ric Flair, the styling, profiling, limousine riding, jet flying, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Woo! Thanks for tuning in to another long-ass episode of the R&R Podcast. For Randy, I am Robert, and it has been another marvelous time, wasting time talking about sports. We will see you all next week.
Spank that monkey.